Most people share the same dream: living in peace, having time, having options, waking up without the weight of debt, without fear of tomorrow. That dream has a name: financial freedom. But let me tell you a truth that perhaps no one has ever told you. Freedom isn't received, it's conquered. The majority of people spend their entire lives chasing money without realizing they're trapped in a cycle. They work, they pay bills, they go into debt, and they repeat this pattern year after year. However, those who achieve true freedom aren't necessarily the ones who earn the most. They're the ones who learn the invisible rules of the game. Today, I'm going to reveal the 11 fundamental rules that separate those who remain slaves to the system from those who reach true independence. These aren't complex theories or get-rich-quick schemes. These are proven principles that wealthy individuals have been using for generations. Rule number 1, spend less than you earn. Oh, but everyone knows that, you might say. Really? This might seem overly simple, but the truth is, it's not about how much you earn that makes the difference. It's about how much you manage to save. If you earn $5,000 and spend $5,000, you're not creating wealth. You're simply making money circulate. Money comes into your account and quickly leaves to cover expenses like car payments, rent, phone bills, food, and interest payments. At the end of the month, you're left with nothing. True wealth building begins when you manage to keep part of what you earn by investing in assets like investments and businesses. In other words, the key lies in stopping living paycheck to paycheck and starting to create a financial reserve, a safety margin. What's most curious is that many people think whoever earns more lives better, but that's not always the case. There are people who earn $3,000 and live peacefully, while others earn $8,000 and are drowning in debt. The problem isn't how much comes in, but how much goes out. Learning to spend less than you earn is an essential skill, and it's what differentiates those who work just to pay bills from those who work to achieve financial freedom. The difference between someone who's in debt and someone who's financially free isn't in their salary, it's in their behavior. Now, if you believe this rule is obvious, answer me honestly. Do you apply it in your daily life? Do you know exactly how much you spend per month? Do you have a financial reserve that you use to invest in your future? If the answer is no, then maybe the obvious is exactly what you need most. Here's a challenge. Live on 80% of your income for 3 months. Since this rule is so simple, you should be able to meet this challenge. Rule number 2, pay yourself first. Many people believe this rule simply means setting aside 10% of income for investments, whether in fixed income or variable investments. But in reality, the concept goes much deeper. The true meaning of paying yourself first involves investing in your greatest asset, yourself. Think about it this way. You get a good job, your salary covers expenses with a little left over, so you start investing part of that in low-risk products like government bonds. The problem is that over time, you end up stagnating. 5 years later, you're still in the same position with the same salary. You realize that living costs have increased, but your financial situation hasn't evolved. The money that used to cover everything now barely covers basic needs. This is a common scenario for many people. They know they should save money, but they forget the most important thing: constantly evolving their skills to stay relevant in the market. Paying yourself first means reserving time and resources to become a more valuable version of yourself. If you invest in financial assets but neglect improving your communication, productivity, problem-solving ability, and mindset, you'll fall behind. Those who don't adapt to the market get left out because everything around you changes: the market, technologies, and competition. If you don't update yourself with these changes, your salary will lose value and you'll need to find new ways to generate income. The most successful people understand that their earning potential is their most important investment. Rule number 3, choose your priorities. You can have anything you want, you just can't have it all at the same time. Every financial decision requires a sacrifice, and understanding this is fundamental. Money, time, energy, and attention are limited resources. To make good decisions, it's necessary to define what truly matters. Do you want to travel, eat well, have a comfortable home? All of that is possible, but you can't want everything simultaneously without paying the price. The key lies in focus. Whatever your field, design, music, programming, concentrate intensely and become excellent at it. Because the more you dedicate yourself intensively to something, the more opportunities appear. Luck favors the prepared. There are different types of luck. First, chance luck, being in the right place at the right time. Second, effort luck. The more you work, the more doors open. Third, skill luck, when people seek you out because they recognize your talent. Fourth, and most powerful, selection luck, when someone invites you to major projects because they see consistency, value, and quality in you. This only happens when you position yourself as a reference point. Those who plant value harvest opportunities. Rule number 4, have an emergency plan. Living without financial planning is like sailing without direction. Unexpected events happen, and those who aren't prepared end up suffering more. An emergency fund is your safety net. It's what guarantees you peace of mind to make decisions calmly, without going into debt or compromising your bigger dreams. This fund isn't for sales or trips. It exists to help you in situations like job loss, health problems, or urgent expenses. Having this reserve prevents panic and gives you time to think, reorganize, and act intelligently. If you're an entrepreneur, the concept is the same, just broader. Ideally, you should have a reserve that covers between 3 and 6 months of fixed costs. Many businesses fail not from lack of profits, but from lack of preparation to face difficult times. Being cautious isn't pessimism, it's realism. With high inflation, heavy taxes, and economic instability, expecting external solutions is risky. What really protects you is being financially prepared. The reserve won't make you rich, but it prevents you from sinking when the unexpected arrives. Think of it as insurance for your financial stability. You hope you'll never need it, but you'll be grateful it's there when crisis strikes. Consider Sarah, a marketing manager who lost her job during the 2020 pandemic. While her colleagues scrambled to find any work they could get, Sarah had 6 months of expenses saved. This gave her the luxury of being selective, ultimately landing a better position with a 30% salary increase. Her emergency fund didn't just protect her, it positioned her for advancement. Rule number 5, make your money circulate with purpose. Now, here's a lesson many people ignore. Money was made to circulate. Keeping it stored away just out of fear of spending or losing it wastes its potential. If you're the type who saves every penny but never moves your money, it starts losing value over time. Money sitting idle without purpose rots. But when you make it circulate intelligently, whether investing, creating something, or developing a project, it returns, and usually returns multiplied. We're not talking about emergency savings here. That's essential. We're talking about the habit of saving out of fear, without direction. Compare 2 people with the same amount of money. One keeps everything in an inactive account. The other uses it to start a small digital business. After a few years, the first person sees their money eroded by inflation. The second might be generating income every month. Yes, there's risk, but there's also opportunity. And doing nothing is also risky because sooner or later, an unexpected event, inflation, or even a scam can make that money disappear. Therefore, use your money with purpose. Invest, create value, make it work for you. Accumulating without putting it in motion is like having stored energy and never using it. Rule number 6, understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. Another fundamental point, learn to differentiate bad debt from good debt. While most people go into debt to consume, buying phones, clothes, furniture, or paying for trips, wealthy people use credit strategically to invest, generate income, and increase their wealth. Consumer debt only brings expenses. Smart debt brings returns. The problem is that many people live by financing everything. The TV in 10 installments, the phone in 12, clothes in 6. When they realize it, a large part of their salary is committed to payments that generate no return. As soon as an emergency arises, their budget goes into crisis. The advice is simple: only use credit when the benefit exceeds the cost. If it's to invest in knowledge, in a business, or in an opportunity that can improve your life, it's worth considering. But never go into debt to keep up appearances. That only digs a deeper hole. Take real estate, for example. A mortgage to buy a rental property that generates monthly income? That could be good debt if the rental income exceeds the mortgage payment. A loan to buy a luxury car that depreciates 20% the moment you drive it off the lot? That's bad debt that will drain your finances for years. Rule number 7, before investing, study and prepare yourself. Before investing in anything, evaluate this. Risk and return go hand in hand. Risk isn't the villain. Ignorance is. What makes risk dangerous is lack of preparation. There are people who throw money at stocks or investments just because they saw someone say they got rich from it, without even understanding what they're buying. When it goes wrong, they blame the market, never their own decision. The truth is that the best investments in life involve a certain degree of risk, but successful people study first, start small, calculate well, and act consciously. Two investors can take the same risk. The difference lies in who prepared and who simply bet on luck. This is how the most successful people act. They don't bet big on everything. They test with small amounts, learn from mistakes, and only then increase their investment. The more knowledge you have, the lower the real risk. And the lower the risk, the greater the possibility of obtaining consistent gains. Warren Buffett once said, "Risk comes from not knowing what you're doing." Before you put your hard-earned money into any investment, understand what you're buying, why you're buying it, and what could go wrong. Education is the best risk management tool you have. Rule number 8, don't be afraid of money. Many people say they want to become wealthy, but they're afraid of money. This fear comes from beliefs, experiences, and stories that make us fear financial success. However, to prosper, it's necessary to see money as an ally, not an enemy. If you don't confront this fear, it can distort how you view others' success, leading you to believe that prosperity is just a matter of luck. But the truth is that money doesn't change who you are. It only amplifies your qualities. If you're ethical and generous, those traits will become more visible. If there's selfishness, money might make it evident. The problem isn't money itself, but how you choose to relate to it. Money is simply a tool, like a hammer. A hammer can be used to build a house or cause destruction. The tool itself isn't good or evil, it's neutral. Your character and intentions determine whether money becomes a force for positive change in your life and others' lives. Consider this. Some of the world's greatest philanthropists are also some of the wealthiest people. Bill Gates has donated billions to global health initiatives. Money didn't corrupt his desire to help others. It amplified his ability to make a difference. Rule number 9, avoid the trap of spending more when you earn more. Many people start with difficulties, counting every penny. But when their income improves, instead of organizing their finances, they elevate their lifestyle. They upgrade their phone, buy a newer car, become more social, and remain in debt. This is called lifestyle inflation, a subtle trap that gives the false impression of progress. Income increases, but fixed expenses also increase, and financial freedom disappears. One unexpected event is enough for everything to collapse. The worst part is that this trap often comes disguised as deservingness. After all, after so much effort, wouldn't it be fair to reward yourself? Of course it would, but with balance. The problem is turning every raise into more fixed expenses, without building reserves or investing in the future. Here's a better approach. When your income increases by $1,000, increase your lifestyle by only $300 to $400 and invest or save the rest. This way, you still enjoy the fruits of your success while accelerating your path to financial independence. Think about professional athletes who earn millions during their careers but end up broke shortly after retirement. They fell into the lifestyle inflation trap, thinking their peak earning years would last forever. Meanwhile, athletes who maintain modest lifestyles relative to their income often become successful entrepreneurs and investors long after their playing days end. Rule number 10, your network is a valuable asset. As cliched as it sounds, nobody grows alone. No matter how hard you work, if you're surrounded by people who drag you down, your progress will be limited. And we're not talking about malicious people, but rather individuals trapped in fear, constant complaining, and conformism. People who, even unintentionally, convince you every day that dreaming big is dangerous. Think about it. When was the last time someone in your circle encouraged you to take more risks? Most people prefer to warn you about the dangers. Don't leave that job, you won't find another one. Don't invest in that, it's not worth trying. Rarely does someone suggest you see opportunities where others only see risks. If this has never happened, maybe the environment around you is limiting your growth. The right network shortens paths, opens doors, and propels you forward. Sometimes, all you need is to be surrounded by the right people. Those who talk about plans, goals, businesses, investments, and not just problems, tragedies, or reality shows. It's in that environment where you begin to see new possibilities. Your network doesn't just provide opportunities, it shapes your mindset. When you're constantly around people discussing how to build wealth rather than complaining about lack of money, your entire perspective shifts. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at your inner circle. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Are they talking about growth or stagnation?" Your financial future might depend more on this answer than you realize. Rule number 11, discover your true reason. Have you ever reflected on what truly motivates you to get out of bed each day? And it doesn't count to say, because I have to pay the bills. Everyone needs that. The question goes deeper. What really drives you? What makes you face challenges, endure pressure, and keep moving forward? Many people live on autopilot. They work, pay bills, complain, sleep, and repeat. Years pass without them realizing it. Do you know why? Because they never defined a clear purpose. And when you don't have a why, any difficulty seems like sufficient reason to give up. That's why you shouldn't climb the mountain of success only to discover you chose the wrong mountain. Having clarity about your purpose gives you focus and energy and brings you closer to financial success. Your why might be providing your children with opportunities you never had. It could be gaining the freedom to travel and experience different cultures. Maybe it's building a business that solves real problems for people. Or perhaps it's achieving the financial independence to pursue your passions without worrying about money. Whatever your reason, it needs to be compelling enough to pull you through the inevitable obstacles. When the stock market crashes and your investments lose value, your why keeps you invested for the long term. When building a business feels overwhelming, your why gives you the strength to push through another day. Consider Oprah Winfrey, who grew up in poverty but was driven by a deep desire to inspire and educate others. That purpose guided every financial decision she made, from building her media empire to her strategic investments. Her why wasn't just about accumulating wealth. It was about creating impact, and wealth became the natural byproduct. Without a strong purpose, financial success becomes hollow. You might accumulate money, but you'll lack the fulfillment that comes from knowing you're building something meaningful. More importantly, without that driving force, you're far more likely to give up when faced with setbacks. These 11 rules aren't just financial principles. They're life principles that separate those who dream about financial freedom from those who actually achieve it. Let's recap what we've covered. Spending less than you earn and paying yourself first create the foundation for wealth building. Choosing your priorities and having an emergency plan protect your progress. Making money circulate with purpose and understanding good versus bad debt accelerate your journey. Studying before investing and overcoming your fear of money prepare you mentally and intellectually. Avoiding lifestyle inflation and building the right network ensure you don't sabotage your success. Finally, discovering your true purpose gives meaning to the entire journey. The path to financial freedom isn't about getting rich quick or finding the perfect investment. It's about consistently applying these principles, day after day, year after year. It's about changing your relationship with money from one of fear and scarcity to one of confidence and abundance. Remember, financial freedom isn't just about having money, it's about having choices. It's about waking up each morning knowing that you're working because you want to, not because you have to. It's about having the resources to help others, pursue your passions, and live life on your own terms. The question isn't whether these rules work. They've been proven by countless successful individuals throughout history. The question is whether you'll have the discipline and commitment to apply them in your own life. Your financial future isn't determined by your current circumstances, your background, or even your current income. It's determined by the decisions you make starting today. These 11 rules give you a roadmap. The rest is up to you. Start with just one rule, master it. Then move to the next. Before you know it, you'll have built the habits and mindset that lead to true financial freedom. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and that step starts now.